I guess we could start off with what you do as a 9 to 5
Okay.
estate agent,
Not anymore.
but you was doing that, right?
I did it for 8.5 years in the end. And it was 2 weeks ago was my last day.
Oh, okay. So you left it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely out of the industry.
Good of an era. End of a good era. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Like, I can't fault it. Probably one of the best places I've ever worked.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's more of a family. So I'd always said, like, it wasn't the industry. I did not like the industry at all.
No.
It was just who I worked with that made it worth staying.
Quite demanding, right? So what side of things did you do? The lettings and stuff?
Just the sales.
The sales stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. So I started off doing just sort of negotiating role. And then the manager at the time, Andy, mentored me, took me out into loads of valuations, and then he retired about 3.5 years into me working there.
Yeah.
And then I stepped in and took his position
His
and did all the
position,
valuations. So for the last sort of 5 years, I only did really like valuations to win business for the company, which was a lot better than negotiating. That's boring. I never used to do the paperwork side of things in the industry anymore.
Fairs. I guess that's kind of helped you now, though, because obviously you're into property, you and James.
Yeah.
What's some of the skills that you learned from being working in an estate agent to move in to property?
Probably the main thing it's connections. You meet a lot of people over that sort of time. Like we a lot of the people that I've met over the years of doing estate agency, they're now like friends or people that we're involved with or getting involved with in terms of business side of things.
Yeah.
So like one of them is bringing us into the investment side of things, where he has clients that want to invest a portion of money over a period of years doing what we're doing, and we manage it for his clients.
Yep.
And we just take a percentage of it each time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a sourcing.
Yeah,
Sourcing thing.
like I was saying to you downstairs, that's what I started with.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you. My issue was, so I think there's two issues when you do product sourcing.
Yeah.
Property sourcing. You have clients. You either have lack of clients or you have lack of property.
Yeah.
Mine was a lack of property. I had clients.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I was filling out the forms and I was speaking to them,
Yeah.
they want to invest in bloody Newcastle.
Yeah.
And property sourcing for me is all a numbers game.
Yeah.
Like, you can view 100 properties.
Yeah.
Then it boils down to like 2 that may work, and at the end of the day, none of them work.
Yeah.
But one thing I did is I co-sourced. So I had a mentor at the time, and he was like to me, you go into Newcastle to try view, because you have to view at least
to get an idea of what you're looking at.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to be going up to Newcastle, wasting my time viewing all these properties and them not working. And I thought to myself, okay, say for example, you're in Newcastle, you're also a property sourcer. Why not I bring the clients to you, you bring the property to the client, and then we just split the fee.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just didn't work. I don't think I had a passion for it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you don't have a passion for something, especially in property, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because it's very time consuming.
It is, and it's knowing what to look for. And I think that's the big mistake a lot of people I've noticed make, is that they just want to get into property. I'm not saying like you, but I mean, a lot of people that you meet when you're doing viewings and things like that and out on appointments, you have a chat with them and you go, oh, what are you looking for? And they go, oh, an investment. And you're looking at what they're viewing and you're like, it's not an investment.
Yeah.
That people just have a bit of money that they come into, whether it's inheritance or they've got a bit of save behind them, and they just want to buy their first place, like as an investment. But they just look at the nicest property because they just want to be like, oh, I just bought this really nice 2-bedroom, put it straight out for rent. And it's just like, if that's all you want, it's a good buy.
Yeah.
But if you actually want to make capital growth on it, yield on it, then there's a lot more to factor in than just buying the nicest 2-bed in the block.
Because you know what, I never understand that, because my dad is always saying to me, oh, you know what, yeah, you need to, save up, get a mortgage, get yourself in a property like that. And I think to myself, cool, I understand, respectfully. I'm not doubting anyone that is a first time buyer or whatever. Like, I just don't see the point in you buying a new build and now you're so-called on the property ladder and you're into property. Like, for me, that's not the case. Property for me is when you buy a project, you renovate it, you sell it, you rent it, do whatever, not just buying your first home that you're living in
for the sake of it.
For the sake of it, to get on the property ladder. I never understand it.
I don't know, it's a tricky one, because unless you've got that mindset where you do want to flip property and make money off the back of it, then buying the worst house on the best road is the model to go for.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just want a stable life and you've got partner, maybe a kid, dog, cat, whatever it is, you don't want that upheaval of moving in, having to renovate the place, go through all the sort of rigmarole of builders and contractors and mess every day after work. I do get the logic there, but it's kind of like the same model as buying like a new car. The second you buy a new car, you drive off the forecourt, you lose 20%. And it's the same as buying a brand new build house or flat.
Yeah.
The second you buy it, you lose money first 5 years. It's like guaranteed. With these help to buy schemes and things like that, they're designed to get people on the ladder, but they're also designed to hamstring you.
Yeah.
It's like a short-term fix and a long-term problem.
Yeah.
And people just don't see that because everyone wants this like new fancy lifestyle to show everyone that they bought this like brand new flat, brand new higher house, but they don't even own it. It's usually like 20, 30% ownership and 60, 70% rent.
Yep. Shared ownership. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of them run in line with the mortgage markets in terms of the interest rates. And if they're up and down all the time, your prices of what you're paying are going to change constantly.
Yeah. I mean, for the people that are listening, correct me if I'm wrong, but a shared ownership, because my friend's actually doing it, you pay your mortgage, but then you also pay, say, for example, you've got, it's like 35, whatever, you also pay a fee to someone else, right? So you pay the mortgage fee.
And then a rent.
And then the rent fee as well. I just think that's outrageous. Like you're literally getting best of both worlds, but best of worst both worlds. Yeah. Because you're paying rent in a house that you're living, but you got a mortgage. Yeah. To me, that just makes no sense. No.
It's just to get people on because you can technically, easiest way to put it, say you've got $4,000 saved and the place you were going to buy is $200,000.
Yeah.
But you could only afford, I don't know, 20% of that property value.
Yeah.
So if it's $200,000 and 20% of it, then you do the math and you work it out. You could technically buy it with a $4,000 deposit based on it being a 20% ownership.
Yeah.
But that's what gets people onto the ladder. And then every year it's called it's literally like a ladder scheme where you can like buy another percentage or a certain percentage every year until you own a certain amount and then it's sort of gone. But we're seeing it where people own them for 3 or 4 years and then think, actually, we've outgrown it and we need to move. And then they go to sell it and they paid, say, $400,000 for it and then it's worth 380. So they technically owe 20 grand or they just lose the money that they initially put into it. And you're seeing it more and more and people are just like, I'm just going to have to cut my losses and just go.
Yeah, I don't think when it comes to property, people make smart decisions.
No. It's thought too much.
Too much emotion.
Too much emotion. It's brick and mortar. That's it. And it's the way to look at it. Yeah,
because I don't know whether you're an advocate of him, but I was going to say Andrew Tate. Samuel Leeds. Do you know Samuel Leeds? Surely you know Samuel Leeds.
No.
He's probably like one of the biggest in the UK at the moment in terms of like property.
No, the only one I ever follow is like Grant Cardone. But he's obviously American based.
Yeah, let me show you Samuel Leeds.
I might recognise the guy.
So yeah, he's the one that kind of started me.
Oh yeah, I do know who he is.
Do you watch his videos at all? Because he gets on. I'll tell you right now.
I do struggle with him though.
He gets a lot of slander.
Yeah, he does.
And I've done his courses. I've done maybe 3 of them. He doesn't bullshit. Like he's not one of these gurus that say he's like doing stuff and doesn't perform. Like
he was on a TV show initially, wasn't he? Like years ago. So
he was. Like he gets results.
Yeah. Do you not feel that he's a bit out of touch though? Reality, like some of his videos, he's like, all you need to do is get $100,000 behind you, buy it for $100,000, borrow $100,000, refurb the place, and then take your $100,000 back out. It says, but most people don't have $100,000. Yes. Even if you want to borrow it on, I don't know, you can take a personal loan, which most people can't get a personal loan of $100,000, or you do, I've gone blank on what it's called, but yeah, most people don't have $100,000 behind them. No, so he's sort of out of touch with the modern, like the normal person now. That's the problem with some of his videos, I think. Yeah,
I would hear that because essentially he was the reason why I got into property sourcing, sorry. And I just thought to myself, the way they talk about it is, you can just, make
magic money. Yeah,
you can make $3,000 a month by just getting a client, getting a property, putting it together.
Yeah.
In that respect, yes, but I think a lot of people do that.
They do.
A lot of people that sell courses, a lot of people that are these influencers, they cut out the bullshit.
Yeah.
And they just say, like you said, get a loan for $100,000, put it down, boom, you're making £500 a month. Yeah. Like we were talking about in terms of HMOs.
Yeah.
He's another one that glorifies the fact that cool, you can make a lot of money from it.
Yeah.
But as you said, compliance, safety regulations, there's all these things.
Yeah. There's way too much, and that's the thing. It's why people buy into the courses, to try and understand the whole side of property. And there's so many different like models to go for. You've got rent to rent, buy to lets, HMOs, flipping. I can't even think. There are a lot of different models to go for.
A lot of different models.
But each of them models works differently depending on what area you live in. So like a HMO won't work very well where we're from, like Croydon, because there's no need for them in Croydon. You might get the odd person that wants it.
That would be so rocky, that place.
It would be. It would be. But that's the thing, like HMOs work well around uni towns.
Yeah.
Rent to rent, sorry. They work well around places where you want Airbnbs and that side of things. And then flipping can work basically anywhere up and down the country, but your margins will differ.
Yeah. If you go
and it doesn't work if you're buying a place up north, but you're buying it for 60 grand and your refurb's going to cost 20, and it's only going to be worth 90 grand after. It's not worth touching, because after your fees and everything like that, and paying tax, you're making 2 grand for 3 months' work. But you buy it down here, and you buy it for 200 grand, spend 25 on it, and it's then worth 350, 325. The margins are worth doing. Yeah. Even after tax.
So, as I mentioned, home and garden maintenance.
Yeah.
So for the people, you essentially renovate people's gardens and stuff.
Yeah, it'll be a mixture. So some of them will be like big clearance jobs. So strip the place back from start to finish. So whether it's for like an elderly person that's gone into a home, that's quite common.
Yeah.
Or people just getting ready to market the property for selling or rental. The other day we just finished a big like landscaping project for decking job for a customer, which was like 7 or 8 meters by 4 meters, wrapping around a studio for her to do yoga on. But yeah, a lot of that sort of comes hand in hand with the estate agency when I did that, because obviously I think the advantage that I've got compared to the average builder or something like that is that my job primarily involved meeting clients on a day-to-day and convincing them to sell their 5, 6, 7, 800 million plus home with the company. So in my head, I'm like, if I can get someone on board with that, going around and doing a gardening quote, it's a lot easier. I'm coming from a different angle for a start, and it's for my own company. So it's more in it for me to go out and quote my own work than it is for another company.
So would you say, is that why you went down the route of doing gardening? Or
always did it. Got into it with Grandad.
Yeah, okay.
Years ago. That's how I started out.
And it's just gone from there.
Yeah, I started with him when I was about 8 or 9 in gardening and just pottering. I used to earn £5 a day. Yeah. And I worked with him, which was good. Like at that age, £5 a day is a lot of money. I used to buy my sweets with it and stuff. So, but yeah, did that for majority of the time, and then got to the point where I started getting more business, and then he ended up working technically with me. Like, rather than me work with him, he then worked with me, and I'd be paying him.
Yeah.
The jobs. So it sort of just transitioned.
What's some of the challenges that you faced in? Because I mean, I have no clue as to what challenges you could face when doing your business.
Like this one.
Besides, like, you know, like you said, we were talking about in the car, lawnmower breaking down. Yeah. Stuff like that.
The risk people don't pay. There's always that risk.
Oh, you get that?
Yeah, you will get that.
But don't you take money up front or anything like that? Or you essentially cash in hand?
If the job's a big job, then you get deposit, 20, 30%, 40% deposit of the job. But if it's like a generic job that's going to maybe be 500-600 quid, and it's not really much outlay, most of the time you wouldn't take a deposit. You just turn up, do the job, and then
just hope that they fucking pay.
Yeah.
Have you had times where people don't pay?
Had it, not where they haven't paid, but they've like just delayed. And it's like how my brother puts it. He goes, you don't walk into Tesco's, do your full shop, go to the till and be like, I'll pay you next week. He's like, you just don't do that. He goes, but for some reason in the trades industry, people just seem to have this misconception that they can just have the work done. You send them the invoice and then they just come back and go, I'll pay you over the weekend. It's just like, well, no, the job's done, just pay me now. Like, why is it taking you a weekend to pay an invoice? Everything's automated now. It's so quick to make a payment. So yeah, you do get it. I had it a couple of times, but they have paid. But I've had to chase them like numerous times. Yeah. And I'm just got to the point, and I did work for an agency before, like an estate agent. Did it for one of their clients, and 3 weeks went by and he still hadn't paid. And I messaged him and I said, look, I don't want to have to go down the court route over 150 quid. I said, it's not even worth my time, but just get it paid.
It's principle, right?
Principle.
Yeah, it is principle.
Yeah.
And do you go back to those clients?
Yeah, I will do work. Once they pay, then I know what they like, and I will do work for them. But if it was a bigger job, then I would demand like a deposit up front.
Yeah, that is tough, especially when people don't pay.
Yeah, it's just money.
Yeah, then
people get greedy, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you're working for your services. You're working hard. Why shouldn't you get paid?
Yeah,
or why should they be delayed?
Yeah.
I've got a question here. What valuable lessons did you learn from, you're an entrepreneur. What kind of sort of lessons have you learned on your journey as being an entrepreneur? Whether that be in property, the estate agent, your garden and maintenance stuff.
I think make mistakes.
Make mistakes.
100%.
Make mistakes early. Fail early.
Not like purposely. Don't actually make a mistake on purpose.
Yeah.
Don't do that, because if you can avoid it, avoid it. But yeah, 100%. Me and James have made errors and mistakes when we've done stuff. Not intentionally, but then we've always said to each other, we're like, okay, right, we kind of now know for next time, don't do that. And that's it. It is just learning.
So are you on the vibe of fail fast? So like, say for example,
yes,
let's take what I was talking about in the car about the creating your own brand, stuff like that. Would you rather go as quickly as possible to find a product that you may not necessarily know may work, but you get pictures done quickly as possible? It may be a bit scrappy, description done, but you fail fast, it doesn't work, instead of spanning that over a period of 6 months, and after that 6 months know that it's done.
I think speed's key.
I mean, when my friend listens to this, he's going to say that, because I'm literally the opposite. And I need to get into a mindset of speed, in the sense that just stop, being a perfectionist and procrastinating and waiting for the perfect time. Just go ahead and do it. Fail fast, fail early, so cool, let me eliminate that.
And it's same as anything. It's like you have to be able to pivot massively.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have an idea and they won't move off that idea. Because they're like, no, it's my idea. That's what I came up with. That's what I want to stick to.
Yeah.
And if you're prepared to pivot, because you might come up with an idea or a product or something and think it's great, but someone else may see it and think, actually, no, it would be better if it was used in this way.
Yeah.
And unless you're prepared to move with that idea, you're going to be stuck on your own one and you won't get anywhere. And it's the same as how a lot of things start. It's like how Spotify and all that started, wasn't it? They started off with a model and then it changed. Because they moved to what the people wanted, not what they had set out to do. And it's the same as what we're now doing, like with property. We always set out to buy a property, renovate, refinance, take the money out, recycle it and buy another one. That sort of
cycle, Yeah,
basically that sort of repetitive purchase, refurb, buy, purchase, refurb, buy. But the model doesn't work at the moment because the rates are too high. Yeah. So we've then had to adapt it to buy, do up and sell and take the money out. So if the market drops, we got the cash in our back pocket to then buy in a down market. Yeah. But if all your money's tied up in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 properties, you can't do anything. You're kind of stuffed.
It's true. What sort of technologies, relationships, tools do you use to like leverage your success? I'm not talking from a point of like, when I say tools, what am I trying to say? I guess ignore the tools part, but like what relationships and technologies do you use to leverage like your winning aspect to life and stuff like that? Like, is it through networking? Yes and no. James and I aren't massive on going to like networking events and things like that. Never have been.
You don't think so? Haven't needed to.
Okay.
And I think the big thing is for me and James, we've always said it's us. We don't want to bring other people into what we're doing. We don't mind working for other people. And like we're doing like with these like investors, where we'll source them property, we'll manage the whole refurb from start to finish, and we'll take a cut or a fee for doing it. But we'd never get into like a joint venture with someone, because I hate to say it, but money changes people, and that's where you see the worst come out in people. We've seen that before, and we've learned that the only two people we can truly trust are each other. And I'm not going to go down that route and start bringing other people in to what we're doing. Yeah. Kind of like a gravy train. People see something you're doing well, and then they all of a sudden want to jump on board. When they haven't done the legwork to get where you're getting to. Yeah. And we're still not at that point at the moment. We're just getting to that point. Building that foundation. It's taken 6-7 years to get there. Yeah. And we've finally feel that we're at that point that it's actually working.
Yeah. I think that's the issue. One, that's a major issue with me is I want, as they say, overnight success.
Yeah.
And I think I need to start understanding that if it's not your time, it's not your time.
No, it's not.
If it's going to take 10, 15 years, it's just going to take 10, 15 years.
It's like what that, I can't remember the guy's name. He does a lot of podcasts basically, but he basically said, work.
Mm-hmm.
Improve yourself a little bit more. Work.
Yeah.
You see nothing happen, nothing change, but you've improved. And it is, and then all of a sudden you're an overnight success. And
Yes.
it is true.
Yep.
Because a lot of people just see you go from someone at school to all of a sudden extremely successful.
Yeah.
And they think, well, how have they done it? And it's just like, yeah, but you haven't seen the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years involved of not going out and seeing people.
Yeah.
Not finishing a 9 till 5 and going home and putting Netflix on and getting a takeaway, rather than go to the gym in the morning, go to work all day, and then finish work to go and do some quotes, then get home and do the quotes.
Yeah.
And then it's 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night before you even finish, and then you repeat.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'd ever be one of these people that say that all I have ever done is work, because I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these that say I'll work 19 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's just a load of crap.
Yeah.
But I would say primarily it is work, just because I get bored. That's more it. I just hate doing nothing.
Doing nothing, yeah. That's the worst
People
thing.
that say they can sit there like during like COVID and all that and just did nothing. Like, don't get me wrong, Warzone, that was a blessing during COVID, because that was a huge thing that I did. But the other times I'd go and do gardening jobs and stuff and make money during it.
Yeah, it's true. It's like you say, people don't really see what's going on behind closed doors. They don't see the graft, they don't see the discipline, they don't see the sacrifices. Yeah. And like you said, although it's not classed as overnight success, it looks like because at one point they've seen you blow and then now you're successful. Yeah. And it's a good way to look at it, to be fair.
Yeah. It's not. And I think if you, obviously James and I didn't come from privilege.
Yeah.
It wasn't a privileged upbringing. We started off in shrublands, which wasn't great, I have to admit.
You lived in shrublands?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, lovely area. I remember when we turned up and there was metal grills on the window. That was not nice. And then from there we went to a place in South Croydon, Nottingham Road, which was horrible. We had like gang lot living above us, and then we had a prostitute. I don't know if I can say that, but yeah, we had a prostitute living upstairs that caused us a load of grief. And yeah, all of that. And then James and I had always said we don't want that life.
Yeah.
So, and it started off being about money.
Yeah.
It was a massive thing for us. But then obviously with mum, that changed our mindset massively with it. We still want money, but it wasn't the main goal.
Main goal. I want to talk about brotherhood, because I know you, James, are quite close. Yeah. It's only you two, right?
Yeah.
You two are quite strong, right?
Yeah.
Like you have each other's back, like you said. You mentioned about you don't really want to bring anyone in because you just want it to be you two. And I really rate that. Like, I think brotherhood is so important, especially when it's just you two.
Yeah.
Having each other's back, knowing that when times get tough, you've got to suck it up.
Yeah.
What's kind of like your relationship with James? For those that don't know, James is Chris's brother. He was meant to come on today, but
had a baby.
He had a baby. So if you do watch this, James, congratulations. You're a father now. And we got Uncle Old Man Chris over here. He's going to be an uncle.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, like, what's your relationship like with James?
It's good, like really good.
Yeah.
We still have our disagreements, like everyone does. But yeah, hands down, wouldn't. I know everyone's probably always going to say it's about their siblings or mum and dad and that, but you wouldn't get a better brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like from whether it was with the property stuff, me going out and doing my own company, he's helped me with the lot, basically. He wasn't just like, oh, maybe do it. Or I was talking to him about it. He's like, no, do it. He was like, just 100% do it. He goes, like, I'm here to help if you need it. Like, not just financially, but I'll help you with whatever you need doing. And he has. I think when I first started going out full time with it, I was getting 5, 6, 7 calls a day for quotes. And I was like, where are they all coming from? And James is just like ploughing my name into every single Facebook post going with someone going, I need a grass cut, I need a hedge cut, I need garden clearance. And I was just getting these calls from loads of different people going, oh, I've had your number off Facebook. Yeah. And then it's just James just constantly putting my name out there. So, and it works. Like, yeah, he's always been there. Always probably will be, and I hope he will be. Yeah. So, and I just don't see us ever falling out. But then we've also protected each other in the sense that even though we are close, everything we've got with property is contracted.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've got a property in my name but not in James's, we've still got a deed of trust.
Yep.
Stating that James owns 50% of that property, just because, like, stuff change, people change. You just don't know. And I'm not saying we would ever fall out, and I hope we wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But if we did, he's protected and I'm protected. I can't shaft him, he can't shaft me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's the thing. A lot of people won't. It's like when people get into a relationship and they buy their first place together, and she might have 50,000 to put in, he might have 20,000 to put in.
Yeah.
And rather than getting a contract drawn up stating that she put 50 in, he put 20 in, and if anything was to happen 3 years down the line, she gets her 50 out, he gets his 20 out, and then the rest is split 50-50.
Yeah.
People don't want to have that conversation because they think it will rock the boat. And it's just like, if you can't have a conversation about money, then you shouldn't even be with that person, because it's quite a touchy subject. And if you can't do it.
Because, I was kind of, maybe like 2 years ago, what I thought was successful was only entrepreneurial stuff.
Yeah.
But I've come to understand that, hey, listen, if you want to, like you said, climb up the corporate ladder and you want to become a partner in the company, director, that's you. That's all on you. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's not something I want to do. Yeah. I respect and appreciate what you want to do, but it's something that I wouldn't do. And I really struggle to understand why not just, everything that my friends would say to me, yo, what can you do? Can you create a business out of it? Because I do believe that whatever you do, you can create a business out of it.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the mindset that I see it from. Obviously, not everyone is suited to be an entrepreneur.
No.
Because it's not easy knowing that no one is telling you to do what you have to do. No one's telling Chris, yo, you need to go cut that grass.
No.
You don't have a manager. You're not going to not get paid. So you
have to wake up and actually do it.
And I think that's the hard thing. And that's something that I'm starting to learn now as well, that I may be out of my job soon.
Yeah.
And bills have to be paid.
Yep.
Bills have to be paid. Otherwise, I'm going to stay in the rat race.
Yep.
The salary is going to become my dream. They use it. What is the saying? Companies use salaries to crush your dreams.
100%. It's like a school.
Yeah.
Schools teach you how to be an employee.
Yeah.
Not how to be a business owner or anything like that. They literally teach you to go to uni to then get a job.
Yeah.
They don't teach you to go to uni and run your own company.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been the thing. It's like, I'm not knocking teachers or anything, but like, if you go to and learn business at school, why would you learn business from a teacher teaching you business? If they knew about business, wouldn't they be doing it themselves?
Exactly, yeah.
So I've always struggled with that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think schools should be pushing more like apprenticeships and things like that, actually pushing people into, find work, but actual skills that are going to teach people to go on and do their own thing. Because if you had a lot more people running their own companies, the country wouldn't be in the state it's in now. Because a lot of people would be working for themselves and doing their own thing.
Yeah. There's definitely an element of fear from that aspect, though. I mean, we could talk about matrix tax and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But, it is interesting stuff. Because it's like you said, about a business teacher teaching you business when they probably have no business experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, no discredit to any of them. It's like what Bob Proctor says. It's like going to a sick doctor when you want to get healthy.
Yeah.
Like,
doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. One thing I wanted to bring up, because I think me and you had a similar experience, but just with two different people. Your mum.
Yep.
So she's passed away. God bless Auntie Anna. But it was kind of a similar situation with my yaya. For those that don't know what yaya is, it's grandma in Greek. She was ill for a very long period.
Yep.
She was more or less bedbound for I think 10 years. So, and I think it was very difficult because my yaya didn't really speak English.
Yeah.
So I really couldn't have a proper conversation with my yaya. It was difficult because she born in Cyprus, come to here. So it was very difficult to sort of feel her pain in terms of talking to her.
Yeah.
I only ever saw her suffer. Obviously, God bless her, she's not suffering anymore. But one thing I can say about when I did met Auntie Anna, there's three things. Regardless of her situation, always had a fucking smile on her face.
Yeah.
Never complained.
Nope.
Regardless, if you knew Auntie Anna, the state that she was in, the illness that she had, it was very easy for her to sit and complain.
Yeah.
But she didn't. And another thing, and this is for you guys, I remember when Auntie Anna used to go to the gym. Auntie Anna used to walk around with an oxygen mask, and she used to be in the gym, regardless of how she was feeling. Cool, maybe she used to not go every day, but that's not the point. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get at the fact that she was still had a terminal illness and she went to the gym. And there's people out here that are being lazy, that can't bother to go to the gym. Regardless of Auntie Anna's situation, she was there working hard. Regardless of what weight she was doing, that's not the point. She was there working hard. And I can only imagine it being difficult for you and that inspiring you so much for the strong, independent, happy woman that she was. How did it kind of like affect you and James? And do you now use Auntie Anna as a motor factor to know that she's watching over you guys and you just want to do her proud?
Yeah.
I guess that's the main thing, really.
Yeah, losing mum knocked us sideways, like completely. Like, yeah, she was literally, like, for me and my brother, she was our world.
Yes.
Like, no question whatsoever. Like, everything we were doing was for mum. So the goal this year, or next year, should I say, would have been to buy her a house.
Yeah.
Around where my brother lives. Have an account set up for her and put a bit of money in there each month just so she can go out and just do what she wants, just carefree. And just basically give her the life that she technically didn't have. Yeah. She had a nice life. Fine, it was in social housing. That's the way we grew up, and I'm never going to knock people for living it because we've lived in it our whole life. But it wasn't hers. She didn't own it, and that's the problem. We wanted to give her something that was hers. It couldn't be taken away from her at any point or anything like that. And so she could be near me and James and obviously now the baby and things like that. That was the whole goal. But honestly, all mum lived for was a quiet life, a latte, and her cats. That was it. They were the things. And one of the big things she said just before she passed was, don't fall out with each other, like look after each other. She's proud of the men that we've become, and what we've accomplished, and also look after the cats.
Look after the cats.
So that was a big thing. So she even said that she knew she was going to die. This was obviously when she was in hospital, and she said, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm just afraid of leaving you, like you and James. That was what she said. So yeah, when that happened, God, seeing someone pass knocks you sideways, especially when you're that close to them. Yeah. James won't mind me saying it, but yeah, for that month after, he kind of went off the rails a bit. Spent pretty much every day at the pub. Couldn't really cope with it. I think 2 days after mum passed, I was down at the flat sorting out a refurb with all the fitters, because that was my way of coping with it. I didn't know how to do it, and we didn't have the time that a lot of people have the luxury of having when someone passes to sort through possessions. We didn't own the house. So the housing association wanted it back within a month or 2 months. So we had to like strip the place, sell everything, get rid of all their stuff like instantly. So I didn't have that luxury.
Yeah, I guess like you said, it's how you deal with it, which is the hard thing. If it is you coming off the rails for a bit, it's how you handle it. But yeah, Auntie Anna was a strong woman, and you can only be doing her proudest for whatever you're doing. What's one lesson that Auntie Anna taught you? It's funny how I always say Auntie Anna. I don't know.
I know.
I just can't say. I never said.
You never
Anna.
said Anna. No,
Yeah,
she was always known as Auntie Anna to even like, the girls, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Well, one thing she always said to me and James, and it was probably her own quote, as it were, but she used to always say to us, take the risk while you can.
You could have any superpower. What superpower would you have, and how would you use that power to impact the world?
Impact the world.
Don't do what my last guest done. She said invisibility.
Oh, God, now.
I don't accept that. I allowed her. I don't know why I allowed you as well, but...
Oh, God, what would I have? I think strength.
Okay. How would we use that to impact the world?
I don't know, massively impact the world, but I'd just love to have extreme strength, because it would save me a lot of time on having to hire equipment and stuff. Could just lift stuff up.
But how does that impact the world, Chris? I'm talking from a point of there's kids dying, there's people with illnesses, and you want to lift up a 200
stuff. Yeah. If it's to impact the world, I'd probably say, oh God, I can't even think of a superpower. I genuinely cannot think of a superpower.
So my one is, a lot of people get onto me about it, but it's being able to, giving people the ability to instantly visualize their goals. So like, if you have a goal of making X amount or having X amount of properties, you can see it in your mind.
But isn't that the same as basically granting people's wishes? Because if everyone granted their wishes, the world would be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
You could argue that, but obviously when you visualize it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. So then you'll start to work towards it because you've accepted the fact that you've seen yourself already in possession of having £1 million or whatever.
Yeah.
So your actions are moving towards your visualization. And once it reaches your subconscious mind, it has to, by law, it has to manifest into the physical world that we so-called live in, moving from a spiritual to a physical standpoint. That's mine anyway.
Probably then mine would, if it was going to be like that, it's cure illnesses.
Cure illnesses?
Big one. I think obviously with mum, if I could have cured that, I would give everything up we've done. Every single thing we've done, every penny we've made, give the whole lot up to have mum back. Wouldn't even bat an eyelid at it.
Definitely.
So that's probably the one that I'd have. Because I think, there's a huge amount of people that pass away way before their time. Don't deserve it. And it's, I hate to say it, but it's always the good ones. You've got a lot of people sat there that shouldn't be here, should I say, that live into a ripe old age. And then people that don't deserve it are the ones that go first. That
have the most potential, Well, it's like they say, if you were to find out that you would die tomorrow, what's the first thing that you would do? And I just think a lot of us don't see life in that respect. I think it's only once you lose someone that you love and care about, you start to think, right, like, you know what, they were suffering. My day could be tomorrow.
It could change overnight.
Literally could change overnight. What advice would you give to someone starting out on a similar journey to yours?
Just do it. Don't overthink it. That's the easiest way.
If
you sit there and overthink it, you complicate it in your mind to the point that you put yourself off even wanting to try. Because at the end of the day, you're going to make a mistake. So just do it.
I think, like we said before, big thing is failure. People are scared to fail. But I guess
that's the fun part.
Yeah, that is the fun part.
So, and I think once you sort of take that on board and you're like, okay, and it's the same as anything, stick within your means. Like if you can afford to lose a certain amount, but it's a calculated risk and 70% is in your favour and 30% isn't, take the risk. If you can't afford to take the risk, just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Minimise it and do something on a smaller scale initially.
Build up
and
to
learn
it
it that way. If you can get someone on board, like if it's property, and you're like, okay, I don't have 70 grand laying about to get into property. I've got 10. Can I find someone that I can do a joint venture with and put 10,000 in?
And
make 10% profit on that 10. Just to get a feel for it and understand the process until you learn how you're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point.
It's like a mentor in a sense. Find someone that you can learn from.
Yeah, definitely. Mentors are a big one. I do speak about that a lot. Who has had the most significant impact on your life and why?
Mum, hands down. So everything we did and everything we learned was from mum. Mum may not have had riches and all of that. But one thing James and I have always said about mum, and we'll always say it, is that we always had what we needed. We didn't have what we wanted. So we didn't have all the luxury clothes and all of that stuff that people would have, not every kid gets, but a lot of kids get. But mum taught us that if we want something, we're going to have to work for it. Because she always used to joke around and say, well, when I'm gone, you get nothing.
And like I said, she always had a smile on her face regardless of what she was going through.
Mum is the key.
That's it. As I said to you downstairs, a quote. What's one quote that you live by when you're feeling down? When, Auntie Anna passed, what's one quote that kind of lifted you to?
It's actually someone that you probably might end up getting on the show is from Taylor and Cohen.
Okay.
Taylor used it more than most people, but it was, you regret more things in life you don't do than what you do. So just do it.
Just do it. There's no point waiting. Again, I speak about this a lot, waiting for the perfect time.
Because
there's not perfect time.
You can overthink so many situations and to the point that you think, I'm not even going to do it. I've done it before. When it comes to stupid, like when I did the thing. I used to overthink that when I first started, and I talked myself out of doing a couple right at the beginning. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And I did it, and I had a really good time.
Definitely.
And that's it.
Definitely. Oh, what was I going to say? Slipped my mind. Anyway, one thing that I do is I get my previous guest, to write a question down that you will now answer.
Okay.
And then obviously you will do the same. You will write one for my next guest. So if you want to read out the question, then obviously answer it.
Do you believe in purpose? And if so, what is your purpose? 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would you say your purpose is in life?
Help people.
Help people.
Yeah. That's our like main goal.
Yeah.
Is to get to a point where it's my view is I'm not winning unless everyone that's in my life is winning. So everyone that's close to me, that's helped me, and whether it was through the work aspect or like when mum passed, I had a lot of very close support.
Yeah.
That helped me. Like James and Steph lived with them during the passing of my mum. They helped massively. I'm not going to name everyone because obviously people are going to feel like they've been left out.
Yeah.
But like a very close friend of mine, Max, flew back from Australia 4 days after hearing mum passed.
Yeah.
And was with us the whole thing. So anyone that's helped me or was there for me, not just through that, but just through anything, they're the first people that are going to be
nice one.
helped, basically.
Yeah, that's a good one. But Chris, that wraps it up. If you want to, where can they find you, your businesses, your socials?
So find us, we're on Checkatrade, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok now.
And what are the ats? What is the...
I can't even remember what they're all at, but if you just type in Soper, Soper, and it may either be Home, Soper Home, or Soper Garden, then you'll find us on any of them.
Perfect. Nice one, Chris. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed that episode. I've enjoyed it. We should be having some good guests come. I'm not saying Chris is not a good guest, but we have some very special guests coming on. Some big guests. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.